Section 5.2, Trigonometric Functions of Real Numbers. So this relates to the unit circle that we were talking about in the last lesson. If the point xy is a terminal point on the unit circle, determined by t, then sine of t is y, cosine of t is x. So it just means cosine is the x-coordinate, sine is the y-coordinate. Tangent is sine over cosine, which means it would be y over x. And then there's three other lesser-known trig functions. Cosecant, which is 1 over sine, therefore 1 over y. Secant, which is 1 over cosine, and therefore 1 over x. And cotangent, which is 1 over tangent, which would then mean it's cosine over sine instead of sine over cosine, and therefore x over y. So let's find the 6 trigonometric functions for each number here. So first we have pi over 3. If we're using the hand trick, pi over 3 is related to our pointer finger. So therefore, if you fold down your pointer finger, you'd have 1 and 3, which means we have square root of 1, which is 1, over 2, and square root of 3 over 2. And we know that 1 over 2 is the x-coordinate, which is cosine. So let's write this as cosine of t, or we could say cosine of pi over 3, either way. Is 1/2. Sine is square root of 3 over 2. Find tangent, that's sine over cosine. So that'd be square root of 3 over 2 over 1 over 2. Flip the 1 over 2 upside down, and you're just left with square root of 3 over 1, which is square root of 3. And then secant matches up with cosine. So it'd be 1 over 1/2, which is just 2. Cosecant matches up with sine. It's 1 over sine. So it flips the fraction. 2 over square root of 3. And last, cotangent flips tangent, so it'd be 1 over square root of 3. Now for cosecant and cotangent, since we're usually not supposed to have square root in the denominator, you would multiply by square root of 3 on top and bottom, so our simplified answer would be 2 square root of 3 over 3, and square root of 3 over 3. Now, pi over 2, that would match up with our thumb. If you fold down your thumb, you would have 0 and 4 fingers, which is supposed to be the square root of 4 over 2, which is really just 1, which we know because also that top point at the top of the unit circle is 0, 1. So that means that cosine pi pi over 2 is 0. Sine of pi over 2 is 1. Tangent of pi over 2 is sine over cosine 1 over 0, which you can't do, so that is undefined. Secant matches up with cosine, so it'd be 1 over cosine, which would be 1 over 0, which is undefined. Cosecant goes with sine, it's 1 over sine, so that'd be 1 over 1, which is 1. And last, cotangent it'll be the flip of 1 over 0, so it'll be 0 over 1, which is 0. Now, you should be able to fill in a chart like this in addition to a unit circle. This you can do entirely using the left-hand trick. Just remember 0 matches up with your pinky, pi over 6 with your ring finger, pi over 4 with your middle finger, pi over 3 with your pointer, and pi over 2 with your thumb. And it's cosine comma sine. You could figure out the rest of this. And tangent is sine over cosine. Cosecant, 1 over sine, the flip of sine. Secant, the flip of cosine, and cotangent is the flip of tangent. So you should be able to fill in something like this. So for those trig functions, now that there's 6 of them that we're worried about, it's not as easy to immediately come up with which ones are positive and which ones are negative and when. So there is a mnemonic, something to help you remember. And the saying is, all students take calculus. It's just a fairly common mnemonic to help you remember. All students take calculus. And what this one tells you is, in quadrant 1, all the trig functions are positive. In quadrant 2, it's just sine. In quadrant 3 is just tangent. And in quadrant 4, cosine is positive. Everything else is negative. Now, if sine is positive, so is cosecant. If tangent is positive, so is cotangent. If cosine is positive, so is secant. But those kind of go without saying. You can also just think about what the points are. X is cosine, Y is sine, so you can figure out your X coordinates are positive over here, your Y coordinates are positive up above the X-axis. And if both coordinates are negative, that'll make tangent be positive. Negative over negative. So now we can use that to help us figure out more complicated sine, cosine, tangent values. So what we're going to look at, 2 pi over 3. So first of all, that would be 2/3 of the way across the top axis. So if it's 2/3 of the way, that means it's 1/3 of the way above Now this 1/3 above the x-axis is called the reference number, and whatever the angle is that it makes with the x-axis, the smallest angle, then we can just use our left-hand trick to figure out the actual values using that reference number. So instead of using 2/3, we're just going to use 1/3, or pi over 3, which is related to our pointer finger. So if you fold that down, we have 1 and 3. Cosine goes first. So we can use the fact that cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. Now since in quadrant 2 cosine will be negative because it's the x value and that's negative, cosine of 2 pi over 3 will be negative 1/2. Now for tangent of negative pi over 3, now we're looking at an angle pi over 3 down below, which still means it's pi over 3 that is our reference number that we're worried about, which is still our pointer finger. So our terminal point is 1, 3, and we fold down our pointer finger. And that's cosine sine. Tangent is sine over cosine, so it's going to be the square root of 3 over 2 over 1 over 2, which is just going to be the square root of 3, and it will be negative because the only positive here is cosine. Tangent is negative. And that's related to the all students take calculus. Only cosine is positive. And our last example right here is 19 pi over 4. Well, I know that's more than one full revolution because it would be only take 8 over 4, so that'd be 8 and then 16 to go a second time. So if you take away all of that, that's really 3 pi over 4. So that's 3/4 of the way to the negative x-axis. Which means it's 1/4 away from getting to the x-axis. So we're going to use 1/4 as our reference number, which is related to our middle finger. So if you fold down your middle finger, it would be 2, 2. Sine is the second number. So square root of 2 over 2. And if we use our mnemonic, all students, S is positive there, sine is positive, so it's positive square root of 2 over 2.